what's it like, maybe even listening to preaching, and there's kind of like the same four or five C.S. Lewis quotes that every preacher uses, you know? Do you ever kind of, are you glad that he's still in circulation and people are, or do you kind of, does it bother you that it's such like a light skimming of his work and his mind?
Oh, yeah. No, I'm glad. It's not like somebody's quoting the same quotes of Jesus but ignoring the rest of the text.
Oh,
So
okay. Fair play. Yes, good
Lewis is
point.
not Jesus, just to be clear. But it is. I think there's well, societies go through these seasons, you know. It's like the Lord of the Rings, you know. It came out and it was pretty popular, but then at the end of the 60s in the United States, it just went viral, you know. And now it's come back in the early 2000s. So, and the same is true with Lewis's work, coming back strong. For example, he has a book called The Abolition of Man, which really didn't get much play back when he wrote it, not hardly at all. But really what he's talking about is our entry into a post-Christian world. And what are we supposed to do about it and how are we going to survive? And then he wrote a fictional book called That Hideous Strength that was a fictional expression of what can happen if society keeps down that path. Well, he was describing a post-Christian world. And those things are coming back. I mean, those two books are coming back, and many more people are starting to read them and pick up on them. Scholars are starting to look at them, but you know, that scholarly world's another thing. But yeah, and there are some things I'm working on at the moment in terms of trying to this class I'm teaching is called C.S. Lewis and Friends on Discipleship, or on making mere disciples in a post-Christian age. Mm. And there's 8 evangels that I've kind of unearthed there. Now, the word evangels is my term, not Lewis's, but, you know, a sense of wonder, a sanctified imagination, and those sorts of things. And I'm trying to put that into a more popular version. A dear friend of mine who's no longer living, Chris Mitchell, was the director of the Wade Center for 20 years. And he and I were having a conversation one time. I said, I'm not sure why I'm studying all this Lewis stuff. And I said, if I ever did anything, it would be not in an academic level. It would be at, you know, in a more popular level. He said, well, don't you think Lewis would want that? Because that was really what Lewis was, not the dodgy, tweety kind of Oxford Don that we think of. So, I mean, he was that. Some of his books on English literature in the 16th century, I mean, they're still being used today also in his discipline, the books that are not Christian oriented per se. But yeah, so I think there's, particularly like that book, The Weight of Glory, it's worth just having your imagination. If you're a teacher, if you're a preacher, it's worth having your imagination just enlivened with that.